the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence, I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence, I find God, I find myself. So I wait.
And so it is from the awareness that harmony is all that there is, that we become still. And so it is from the awareness that harmony is all that there is, that we become still. And know that the very essence of life itself is a very harmonious activity. And so right where our relationships are concerned, harmony reigns supreme. And so we allow ourselves to surrender any conditioned idea of our identity, allowing the cosmic reality of love and harmony to indeed have its way. And so it is from this place that we recognize that the very body that houses the whole spirit of us is an activity of harmony. All of the functions and faculties of the being are expressing in a very harmonious expression. And so it is from this place that declaring the very truth of the body temple is but our opportunity in prayer to recognize what God has wrought and called itself us. And so as we breathe in the reality that all that there is all that there is, we allow harmony to have its way in every relationship that is a part of our life and a part of our experience. And so we so surrender to that divine mandate of a harmonious being that we allow that mandate to use us so that love may have its way in our mind, may have its way as our body, may have its way as our affairs. And indeed, all about us, we permit ourselves to recognize harmony in every aspect of expression and being. And from that point of reference, we cannot help but be the activity of that harmony as we avail ourselves to its reality. And so I declare in this moment that harmony in our affairs and harmony in our relationships are indeed moving through, in, around, and as us right now. And so it is indeed the energy and the appreciation and the acknowledgement of gratitude that nourishes and cultivates this harmony into full expression as our life. And so it is from this place that we bear witness to what is true about our nature and being. And harmony reveals the unconditional love that is the very means by which we exist. And so it is from this awareness that the word spoken is indeed made flesh. And so we allow it to be. And so it is. Amen.
Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living this morning. A beautiful prayer to start the morning. It's always good to start the morning in prayer. A beautiful sunny day, a warm day, a great day to be in community today. And we have a musician today. I want you to welcome him for the opening song.
This is a very simple chant. If you feel like singing along as you get into it. I bless. Oops, sorry. It's too high. You ever had a day like that? You start out. The capo is up too high. I bless you. I forgive you. I release you. Release you to love. I bless me. I forgive me. I release this to love. We bless them. We forgive them. We release them. Release
So Calvin, if you could stay up there a minute. I don't have my microphone on here. Could you tell me, it is, I just don't hear very well. So tell me about yourself, a little bit about yourself. You live in Santa Rosa, I know, or?
I live in Santa Rosa, and I'm here at the invitation of my good friend Astra. And I attend usually the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa.
Uh-huh.
They asked me to do a biography, and I have to put this in. I am a twin. I'm an identical twin. And my identical twin's name is Alvin. And I'm smarter than him.
So not quite identical then.
He's handsomer than me, but
Oh, okay. All right.
my musical background is I've just sung, and mostly choirs and mostly private instruction. But I think the thing that has been the most crucial for me is understanding the connection between music and spirituality. Music for me is, as for Astro, is an expression of myself. I like to think, or I was taught, that we are all perfect because we're doing the thing we were sent here to do. So being perfect is not the challenge. What's the challenge is expressing our perfection. Music allows me to do that.
Beautiful.
I have one son who's 38 years old. I'm an old guy. And I have lived here in California since 1990. I was actually born in Charlotte, North Carolina. I escaped, and
We won't hold you against
Yes,
you.
sir. And the last thing I'll say is one of my musical journey really started. I traveled to Japan. I was with a cult, but I traveled to Japan, and I was taught opera in Japan. And coming back, I realized I never wanted to go back to North Carolina. I go back to visit. And having seen so many people around the world, I ended up here in California, which is a lovely place, a kooky place. And I'm really grateful for the Centers for Spiritual Living for giving me I found a spiritual home, and it's kind of nice.
It's beautiful. Well, thank you. Let's welcome Calvin. It's great. So today, Sunday, February 12th, I know all sports fans out there have been waiting for this day, for the big build-up for the 2023 Puppy Bowl, right? Right, Linda Sherman told me about the Puppy Bowl. I didn't even know it existed, but it's a big thing. If the game gets too boring or anything, just switch over the channels to the Puppy. It's quite entertaining that you can do that. So I think I've got a picture here, right? I mean, a lot cuter than the football players, right? We like to begin our service with our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look on your screen there and repeat with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission statement, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. A few announcements today. I just want to begin by honoring that this is Black History Month. I guess things are out of order. First of all, let me thank you for bringing your green bags back today. Here it is, the second Sunday on even months when we do this. So if you brought back food today, raise your hand. Or if you meant to bring food back today, you could raise your hand. Not calling anybody out there. But this is Black History Month, and it is a great way to just reflect on the power and creativity that Black Americans have been to this country through creativeness in music, philosophy, science, art, just name any discipline, any part of life, and there's been a significant contribution to life. And particularly today, I wanted just to honor the Black Lives Matter movement, because here we affirm that Black lives do matter. And what I really want to honor the Black Lives Matter, that really started back in 2013 when the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's murderer and they knew that they needed to do something more. So it's not a centralized or leadership driven. It's more different chapters or different people are doing things. But it became more like magnified and with the death of George Floyd. And we all were, a lot of us weren't working, or we weren't as much, or at home more. And so we were able to witness that and witness the events of that. And what I really appreciate about the Black Lives Matter movement is that it's a nonviolent protest. It's a nonviolent march. Now, there have been violence at different events, but the intention of it is to be nonviolent. And if you look at what happened from 2013 to now, we've seen remarkable changes in orienting themselves towards what a first response means. We've seen institutions, corporations, nonprofits all being more aware and having different action because Black Lives Matter movement has brought this to the surface, and we're more aware and we realize that we have more work to do, but that we have made some progress and continue to do that. So I just want to honor that and appreciate the power of nonviolence, even in the face of things that I'm sure are frustrating and drives people crazy because of the violence that continues. And what we know is the violence is continuing, but we're more aware of it and the response to it. You know, compared to 2013, when there was no response to, there was an acquittal for what happened to Tyree Nichols, but now in Memphis, the response was immediate, and they're being held accountable. I've heard they've been indicted. The 5 officers have been indicted. More officers and first responders have been fired or at least put on temporary leave. And so there is a quicker, it's not wait to see if it was a reasonable, it just never allowed. And there's immediate things. So hopefully that will start making it where we lessen the amounts of violence. And we know that this community continues to support and know that Black Lives Matter. And we stand strongly for that. Amen. And I understand, do you want to just pipe in here? Some of your music is tied into Black Lives, Black History Month?
Yes, in the 2 feature songs I'll be doing, they're what are called Negro spirituals. And they're from my own childhood. I grew up singing these songs. You'll hear them later. But the important thing for me is that I'm really happy that you actually spoke about this. I can live the way I live. I can have white people as friends because so many people before me died. They went and they sat in the protest and they did stuff that I don't have to do. So thank you very much for recognizing, we were talking about it earlier, we're still in a place where Black Lives Matter. We want to live in a place where not only is that true, it is so accepted we don't have to think about it. That's when truly all lives will matter.
Right.
For my own part, I don't need your guilt. Your guilt as white people does not help me. What helps me is you're loving each other. If you do that, then you see someone like me and it makes no difference. That's the most important thing.
Amen. Yeah. Thank you for your words and your wisdom there. Let's take a deep breath on that one. Yeah. You don't need our guilt. You need our action. Yeah. We're twins today, huh? Is that right?
You can tell the difference because I wear glasses.
Oh, I have glasses. I could wear those.
I even have a gray coat.
Oh, and Dianna too. She's a twin too. We're triplets.
That's right.
No difference at all, right?
Difference at all.
We do have a big event coming up in May, the Sip and Savor. We're so excited that we have the date. We're moving forward, and right now, this is the event we have every year now. It's about our 6th annual one. But the way we're doing it now is having the food and the wine tasting, the silent and live auction, but we're also having these Compassionate Heart Awards. And that's the 3rd year we've done that. So we're now having nominations for those, but we're also asking for nominations for, this is some pictures from previous events. But we're asking you to donate auction items. We're seeking wineries to pour. We're seeking sponsors, and all that can be done on the link I sent on email this morning. It'll also be on the website there. And then the nominations, or the form for that, is also on there. The important thing about the nominations is these are people that have demonstrated a principle of compassion through selfless service to others. They uplift others through kindness and empathy. They demonstrate ongoing commitment to physical, mental, and emotional well-being of others. They inspire others through their community service, and they reside in Napa Valley. We've already had some great ideas. I don't know if the nominations have been officially, but people have been brainstorming about people that are nominated. Last year, we had some great, is that slide on here? Yes, David Bubsby, Jenny Olson, Roger Carlson, that were our award winners last year. So these are great choices that represent supporting local restaurants, supporting the teens, supporting in the food insecurity. So these are all issues that are addressed by these people, so it can be wide open who we nominate this year. I invite you to do that. And then next Sunday is the pancake breakfast. Where did Melda go? She was here a minute ago. There you are. Melda, why don't you come up and talk about that? I don't know if we have we have a microphone here. Can you turn the blue mic on, Jim? Come on up here.
Is it on? Okay.
There it is.
So we're planning to sell pancakes for next week, and it is going to be
this way. Go to the
here.
X. There you go.
Hello. So we're excited. You know, the Hispanic community is preparing to sell pancakes for next week. It is going to be to collect funds, you know, for the same ministry. And Lupe is going to support me. Always, she's my right hand. Always, I'm supporting her. She's a very good helper. So that's the invitation for you to participate with the pancakes. We're going to have yogurt, some fruit, honey, and maple syrup. So, okay?
Sounds delicious. So
Okay.
that'll be right after the service.
Yeah, right after the service.
So come
yeah.
hungry, stay hungry,
Yeah,
and have some
and
pancakes.
be prepared.
And I'm sure you would do things like that. You could just do fruit and yogurt if you wanted to.
Yeah.
that.
We're gonna put, you know, in a separate.
You're not doing carbs, so there's
in
other
a
choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
And other choices in a separate bowls, and then you can pick up whatever you like to add it.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Thanks, Imelda.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And then also, I know we're jumping ahead, but I think it's time to start planning next month because we have a concert. Patricia Bahia will be here as a guest singer Sunday morning, but then there's going to be a concert with Astra and somebody new to our community, Austin Willisey, is that how you say his name? So they're going to do a songwriter circle where they take turns singing their own original songs, and we already know many of Astra's songs. She has such great songs, so Patricia and Austin have their own songs too. So it'll be a fun event in the afternoon from 2 to 4. So we'll have church in the morning and then the concert in the afternoon. We'll do pre-sale tickets, and the link will be up shortly on the website. We'll be up this week, and we'll be selling tickets next week as well. So that'll be an exciting thing. And then other events, Easter is on April 9th. And then a really fun thing, speaking of Santa Rosa, Dr. Edward Villun is actually going to be our speaker on a Sunday here. He is the senior minister at the Santa Rosa Center for Spiritual Living and currently the spiritual director of all of Centers for Spiritual Living in that international role. So I will love to hear him and his perspective on the big picture of Centers for Spiritual Living. And he's a great speaker. He's really fun to hear. And then, of course, May 6th is our Sip and Savor. The peace pole, we have a traveling peace pole. If you're interested in that, we need a place for it to go in March, and elsewhere. That form is online. Michelle, did you have a hand raised for a reason?
What I realized is the 29th is actually Saturday. April 29th?
Must be the 30th then.
Okay.
April?
Yeah.
Yep, must be 30th. It's a Sunday. I promise that part. So, and please know that we are here for you in whatever way. We have resources valley-wide that can support you in any way. But above all, we're here for prayer. So if you have a prayer request, I just got one this morning from Vallejo. And that we have an online prayer request, as well as forms outside, as well as practitioners here in the sanctuary after the service you can stay with for a short affirmative prayer. So know that we are here for you. And now we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
I will make a quiet place within my heart, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know. I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place. I will make a quiet place.
So, bless you. Let's make a quiet place right now in our hearts and in our souls, and know that God is present with us in this quiet place. But no matter where we are, God is. But in particular, this morning, as we gather to bring together our energies and align with the unity of all that there is. So let's take a few moments to recognize within us what that quiet place is, how it sounds, how it feels, and how we express it. And I give thanks for this. So today we're talking about our superpowers. And you haven't seen me around for a while because I've been dealing with this back thing, and I have a brace under my nice little shirt here. But back in October, I was making my bed and noticed that the mattress was off. So I figured, I'll hike it up on my shoulder and I'll up with my legs, and my back went pop. And I couldn't get out of bed for like 3 weeks. So then I thought I was doing really good, and I started back to exercise, and I was feeling good. And then I took the front off of my fireplace so that I could light my fireplace. Boom, hit it again. So I've been in that quiet place for a long time. And superpowers. I've had a lot of prayers from everybody in the church, and I'm so blessed to have that. And what came to mind for me was the power of the peace of mind. And without the power of the peace of mind, I couldn't have made it. There was a day when I was looking out my window thinking, I can't work in my yard, I can't even do my laundry, I can barely feed my cats and myself. And I was wondering, well, where would be the best place to blow my head off in my backyard? But you know what? I had that peace of mind to know that that was just a passing thought. Number one, I don't own a gun. Democrats don't need guns. And number two, I was in such a peaceful place in my heart that I knew that I'll get through this. I'll get through it. And I also started reflecting on, and thank God for YouTube, because they have all these wonderful tutorials and things. And I've decided, the Lord's just cut a bunch of stuff out of my life, like dancing and partying and painting. I'm an artist. I've forgotten all about that I'm an artist. So I actually bought myself some watercolor paper just yesterday, and I'm going to start painting again. So if you need a superpower and you don't know what that might be for you, claim the peace of mind of God and hold that in your heart, because it's really, you can't do our, what is it that we show you just showed it, the vision statement. You can't have that in your heart unless you have the peace of mind within you. So allow that to just be there. You don't have to do anything else. Just know that you're protected, you're guided, you're guarded, and God bless you all. Thank you.
This song was written by Thomas Dorsey for Mahalia Jackson. I call it a Negro spiritual because Negroes sing it in church. One person said, can you define a spiritual? Well, do you have a spirit? Yes. If you sing a song, it's a spiritual. For those times when the quiet place can be tight. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am precious Lord, take my hand and lead me home. When the dark lost and gone. At the river I stand, guide my feet, hold my hand, take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. Oh, I am tired, I am weak, I am worn through the storm, through the night. Oh, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. Oh, lead me home, lead me home.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. You know, I know we call ourselves a center, but I think you just brought us to church this morning. So thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, touching. I got to get focused on this now because that just took me to a different place. It was really nice. It was really nice. Thank you. Thank you. So our theme is living out loud this year, and in particular this month, it's curiosity is our superpower. Dianna, thank you for talking about our superpower and that which calls us, that which a place for us to be connected to Spirit to lead us towards a path of healing or openness or creativity or whatever it is we're seeking, to allow Spirit to guide us in that way. And what I know about curiosity, I think that often if we don't know what it is we're seeking or we're not sure our path forward, it's curiosity, our wondering about life, how it could be, how it might be, through Spirit knowingness there, that can lead us to a greater expression of the divine, to give us a superpower to jump over tall fears we might have or to fly through any adversity we might have. I heard a story that I told in my email this week, but a shorter version of it, just there was a woman in Hawaii and she was fearful of water. A lot of people are fearful of oceans and not sure what's underneath the water. And she would only go a certain distance, about waist high, but she put on her mask and she looked down and she could see the corals and the fish. And suddenly she became very curious and she would swim along the surface looking. And eventually that curiosity led her to dive deep into the water among the corals and seeing the moray eels and the colorful fish and the turtles. I don't know if you've been snorkeling in Hawaii, but it's a wonderful thing. And so this curiosity in the same way leads us in this way. You know, the ultimate questions in life can be answered by just allowing Spirit to connect with us in this deeper way. A friend of mine says the meaning of life is the hokey pokey, because that's what it's all about, right? I think with our curiosity, it will have us go deeper. There was a great Hindu legend. There is a great Hindu legend that talks about that one time we humans had all the knowledge of the divinity that it was all right there for us, but we begin to abuse that knowledge, abuse that sense of divinity. So Brahma, the ultimate god in the Hindu religion, decided that something else needed to be done, that it needed to hide this from us, so we would have to seek for it. So he called a council of gods together, and one of the gods says, well, perhaps we could bury it deep in the earth. And Brahma said, no, they'll just dig into the earth and find it then too easily. Well, how about putting it in the deepest ocean? No, they'll just dive down and find it eventually. Well, how about we put it on the highest mountain? No, they'll just climb and find it too. So they weren't sure what to do. The council of gods had given all their ideas and they didn't know what to do. And then he goes, Brahma said, I know what I'll do. I'll put it within them. They'll never look there. So the legend goes that as humans, we continue to climb the highest peaks. So we dive to the deepest part of the oceans, dig deep into the earth to find something that's always within us. And yet, we need the seeking. We need our curiosity that we lead us to move towards something, helps us discover what is always within us. The story of the Hindu legend reminds me of the story of Adam and Eve that we have in our own Genesis in the Bible that many of us grew up with. Some of us didn't. But in that story, Adam and Eve ate of the tree of knowledge. Remember, they knew good and evil just like the gods did. It was plural in Genesis 2. I thought that was always interesting. So we knew, and it's the God within us that can hold good and evil, that doesn't make a choice whether it's this or that. And yet, what according to the story, God took Adam and Eve and put them in a skin of human. Always interesting thing that put them in a skin of human, and they thought it'd be human, and then they would experience pain and suffering, and what they did, we get so caught up in life we forget about our divinity. And we have to re-find it in that way, even though we have that within us at all times. At all times. So the idea of this inquiring minds that want to know, and what I know about the inquiring minds is that when we seek this curiosity, that we question the important questions in life, like how can I be love and peace in this situation? Who have I not yet loved? What does love look like, sound like, feel like in this situation? Where is the love? And what keeps me from being in love with life? I know Valentine's Day is around the corner on Tuesday, and yet when I'm talking about in love, I'm not talking about with someone else. It's great if we are, but I'm talking about being in love with life and loving life, and what's holding me back, what's keeping me from being in that love in my life. And opening up to that. For me, this book by Valerie Carr has just been a wonderful book called See No Stranger. Last week I showed some video clips of it, and I really recommend either reading the book or watching the TED Talk. It's extraordinary. However, speaking of gods, the gods of YouTube flagged the video last week, and I had to re-edit it so other people could watch it. So we're not going to show videos this week. We don't want to be flagged again by the copyright laws, but I really recommend that you go see it. But she's just an extraordinary, and last week we talked about the compass that she offers us as a way to create a revolutionary love, to reimagine love. And last week we talked about, because we're one heart, one love, that we're connected, people that look different than us, that are different than us, we can love them because we know that they are part of us, we just don't know yet. They are our brother and sister, aunt and uncle in that way, that I don't know you yet, but you are a part of me in that clarity. Today we move into probably the most difficult of these, that we love for opponents. So an opponent is any person whose beliefs, words, or actions cause violence, injustice, of harm. Betrayal, resistance, and somehow they seek to gain power over you, and we can take back our power at any time. It is our power, our choices. And sometimes these are people very close to you that can betray you. Now, personally, I've experienced opposition, betrayal, criticism, and judgment. Yet other people I know have experienced it on a much, much greater level. Racism, abuse, violence, different kinds, and I can't even imagine what the trauma is around that. And some of those wounds that were around these kind of abuses are still there. And so her first comment about it is to tend to the wound, that we have within us. And if we have a safe space to be, we can also listen to the wounds of others as well. But first, we tend to our own wounds. What I noticed about the word acknowledge is the word know is in it. So we accept and seek a knowingness, a consciousness, an awareness of it, because as we grew up and we experienced certain kinds of trauma or abuse, we weren't probably able to process it then. It was just, we just chose to survive, and it was good that we chose that. But now as adults, we can begin to unwrap that. Not in revenge, not in an eye for an eye, but in allowing a greater understanding, a greater knowledge. I know that spiritual teachers, human rights activists, civil rights activists have all sought ways to shift culture in nonviolent ways, many of them. And yet what I know is they were criticized and imprisoned, and some even assassinated because of their beliefs, but they continued to believe that nonviolence was a way to do it, not eye for an eye, because Gandhi says that leaves us blind. Dr. King said, hate is too big of a burden to carry. Jesus said, if someone slaps you, turn your other cheek. I always didn't understand that one as a kid. And they're not saying, I don't believe saying be passive. He's saying don't just be aware of your anger. You need to attend to it. I mean, Jesus turned over the tables in the temple when the money changers were abusing the sacred temple. So it's not that you're not angry. It's that you are able to process it in different ways, to rage in safe containers, as Valerie Carr talks about. One of my favorite writers about anger is Audre Lorde. She's a writer, civil rights activist, especially civil rights and human rights around blacks and women. She describes herself as a black, lesbian, mother, warrior, poet. I love that description. But she says that her fear of anger has never taught her anything. Anger has taught her plenty, but her fear of anger has never taught her anything. She's also known for this phrase, women are powerful and dangerous. I think I need to acknowledge that. Right? She said anger is an appropriate reaction to racist attitudes or other abuse that happens to us. Fury is when actions arising from those attitudes do not change. And she goes on to say, I cannot hide my anger to spare anyone's guilt, nor hurt feelings, for to do so insults and trivializes all our efforts for change. She talks about the rage within as a symphony, to listen to its rhythms, to learn from it, and to channel it into focused fury, in determination. We know that the greatest social movements that have happened from individuals and groups have been nonviolent. Because it gives people a chance to heal. It gives people a chance to relate and connect in a way instead of pushing them away. Instead of letting that anger be another reason to be angry for the other person. I appreciate the story of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, so you always hear the good things about the end of his life, but he spent 27 years in prison. 27 years of his life. From a young man to a middle-aged man. It would be understandable if he left prison angry. But instead, he left a man of peace. Focused fury for change. He says, as I walked out of the door through the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I would still be in prison. So this is that forgiveness work that we can do, not because a person deserves it, but because it's slowly eating away at us and keeping us from being a channel of love in this world. Nelson Mandela went on to say, resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it will kill your enemies. Right? So notice where the love is stopped, where you're not flowing with the love, and allow a deeper sense of the flow. So let this idea of the inquiring mind not only lead you to knowing, but to flowing, and to create in this life in this new way. So we can listen to a healing path. We can listen to Spirit lead in us. If we're not in harm's way, we can listen to our enemies. We can listen to those who oppose us to try and find an understanding. Valerie Carr had this amazing story how she was in a restaurant and she overheard some people. She's a Middle Eastern. She's a Sikh religion, and doesn't mean it's a bad religion. That's the way it's pronounced, S-I-K-H. But she heard these men in the diner, overheard them. She couldn't hear everything he was saying, but she heard the phrase sand in. I won't say the N word, but it's the N word. So it's a reference to Middle Eastern people. After 9/11, there was such animosity and anger towards all Middle Eastern people, all Muslims, as if they were all terrorists, and that simply wasn't true. And she felt safe. She checked in with her inner self, her higher self, and it felt safe to go talk to them for a minute. And she did that. And she talked about her religion. She talked about her experiences. And she's had some violent experiences that she's experienced because of other people. 21 years ago, 9/11 happened. 4 days after 9/11, a family friend who she called uncle was the first person killed by someone because they looked Middle Eastern. So the Sikh religion wears turbans. They have long hair and they keep their head in turbans, and somebody killed her uncle because he was wearing a turban. They wanted to go, he expressed to someone else, this man, Frank, I can't remember his name, it's over here in a minute, said he wanted to go kill some towel heads. So she talked about this with these men, about this experience she had. And they were empathetic in some ways, but they also were saying, but we have to do something about these terrorists and these Muslims. And they kept holding their judgments. They softened to her, but it's almost she left thinking they were making an exception for her. And remember what I'm talking about, when we're not in the divine, we tend to split between good and bad. Maybe we move somebody from the bad over to the good section, but we still have this bad over here, and we need to bring it together. And sometimes humanly we can't do that. We need the divine to hold the oneness in us together, to be this way of tending to the wounds that are around us. So Valerie Carr, as a lawyer, was able to litigate and advocate for ways. But she also, after 9/11, took a camera around with a photographer and interviewed people, and she listened to people, and it's this compassion that she was able to find that people opened up in these videos that they did. And during this time, she thought she was making progress as a lawyer and a videographer, but then the Oak Creek massacre happened, which was a Sikh temple in Wisconsin where 7 people were killed by a lone gunman. She went there to grieve with those people as they began to reconstruct their temple after that violence and clean up the blood-stained carpets and the holes in the walls. They found a way towards recreating the sacred in their life as well. It reminds me of Hanukkah when the Jews were reconsecrating their temple. So the Sikh religion in Wisconsin was recreating their temple, rebuilding their temple, recreating the sacredness. And they had a beautiful meditation that they did in one of their spiritual practices and to hold the sacredness. And these are the words of it. Meditate and vibrate upon the one, and you still cross over the terrifying world ocean. The world is just a dream. None of this is yours. As bubbles in water rise up and disappear again, so is the universe created. Nothing is permanent. My strength has been restored and my bonds have been broken. Now I can do anything and everything that is asked of me. So in this way, what Valerie Carr talks about is reimagining a life without this kind of violence. I know right now we have this kind of violence, but we continue to have a revolutionary love. As I mentioned, her uncle was the first person killed after 9/11 that was intended to be a vengeful act. And she was doing this work through the time, and she, after 15 years after 9/11 and 15 years after her uncle was killed, she went to a vigil. This was in the suburbs of Phoenix. 15 years later, and they set out a cloth with flowers and candles. And her uncle Singh Soti, his brother Rana was there. And Rana turned to Valerie and said, nothing has changed. We still have violence towards people that look like Muslims. We still have violence towards blacks and women. Nothing has changed. And Valerie turned to him and said, who have we not yet tried to love? Who have we not yet tried to love? Because she believed that love is this shifting energy. So they decided to call the man who killed their uncle. He was still in jail at this time. His name was Frank Rogue. So they set it up with the prison, and they called. They heard the phone ringing, and Valerie's heart was racing. She didn't know if she could do it. But his voice answered. And they said hello, and Rana, her uncle's brother, said, why did you agree to speak with us? And Frank says, I'm sorry for what happened. And I'm also sorry for the people killed on 9/11. So Valerie, internally, she talks about that she felt the rage again. She felt anger that he was not taking responsibility. But Rana spoke up. He turned to wonder and he said, Frank, this is the first time I'm hearing you say that you were sorry. And Frank said in response, yes, I am sorry what I did to your brother. One day when I go to heaven to be judged by God, I will ask to see your brother. I will hug him. I will ask him for forgiveness. So the softening happens. And Rana says to him, we have already forgiven you. So this is the kind of thing, with spirit, that we can find that forgiveness. We do not have to have that direct dialogue with somebody for this forgiveness to happen, for shifts to happen. We do need to be open to spirit and how it moves through us. We also know that it takes time. It took Valerie 15 years before she could have that conversation. And probably Frank Rogue needed 15 years to be able to have that conversation too. So we know it takes time for love, for us to find that way through, for spirit to find that way through us. So we continue to find and love this. So as a little bit of a closing to my talk, we have our youth department in here. We have some children and teenagers in here. And I think they brought us a big Valentine. Is that what happens? Tony, you want to come on in? So what you got? Oh, we have one more person? Come on up. Nope, we got, okay. So tell us about the big Valentine.
Well, we just...
Closer to your mouth.
Okay. We just figured out that we had to make Valentine cards for everybody, but we didn't have time, so we just made a huge one.
Anything to say? No?
What she said.
So, Mary, what was the thing we used to tell our children? We used to raise our hands and say, we love you, we bless you, we're here for you, right? Okay, raise your hands towards our youth and we say, we love you, we bless you, and we're here for you. You remembered it better than I do, that's right. All right, thank you. And we'll put that on the welcome table. Okay, great. And now we'll have some more music.
This is the second song of which I spoke, but I want you to think, most blacks coming out of slavery were very much into Christianity. It was a refuge for them. It's called There's a Balm in Gilead, but I want, going along with your talk, your Gilead is not someplace else. Gilead is within you. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Sometimes I feel discouraged and think my work's in vain, but then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. My heart is full of wonder and peace lives in my soul, for I am touched by Spirit and it has made me whole. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead soul. Join me on that one. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Thank you.
Seems perfect for today, to our wounds whole and a balm for our healing. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for singing. Beautiful. I really enjoyed your music today.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
So this is a time in our service. We invite you to be part of our sharing of abundance and the participating in the law of circulation. We know that what you give comes back to you as it creates flow and connection in your life. So for the ushers could come forward. Can you get by there?
Oh, sorry.
I so appreciate the different ways that everyone is giving online, through texting, through checks or bill pay, whatever it is, it all goes into supporting us. Over 75% of our budget comes from what the NPR says, like people like you. So, so thank you for your support of our vision and mission, our music ministry, and our outreach in the community. So take that which you're giving, whether it be of love or representing that which you've given to us already during this month, or that which you're giving today, and say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is.
I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. If forever is already mine, I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. I'm going deep to know the divine. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. If forever is already mine, I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul.
I like that better than the original. That's great. I love that. We also want to welcome anybody who might be here for the first time. If you're willing to raise your hand, we have a gift for you and we want to acknowledge you. So we have one person that we have gifts coming eventually. Here we go. Anybody else here for the first time? Oh, yes. Great. Back there. So we have a blessing for all our new people. So we raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. Could the practitioners come forward? Melda was here, if you want to stand here. And please know that there are prayers available for anybody if you want to stay after the service and meet with Dianna or Imelda, that they'll be here. And we'd appreciate if you take your conversations that you want to have out to the courtyard where we have coffee and snacks, and enjoy the time meeting people there and connecting in that way. So we so appreciate that. So let's all stand for the community affirmation and the final song. Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful,
I am so grateful.
and so it is.
So it is. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision right here and now.
So as we go forward, we let curiosity lead us into our superpowers. And go puppies, right? Have a great Sunday.